What's up, everyone? I'm the Iron Chef, bringing you a Battlefield How To. Today's issue focuses on snipers and how to effectively play that role. And the reason I'm using this footage specifically is because I start the game off with a 22 kill streak, and at least in my opinion it was pretty badass. Another reason I'm using this footage is so you can see how I personally approach close range engagements, and if you're not particularly good with a bolt action, then you should want to stick to close range engagements. First thing I want to touch up on is you have to use your equipment. Use the MAV on smaller city-like maps and use a SOFLAM on larger, more open maps. I like to use the MAV to scout the area ahead and place it in high traffic areas like C Flag on Seine Crossing, which, to be completely honest, is a death trap. I try to stay away from it as much as possible. Now, I know a popular notion a lot of people have about snipers is that they sit half a mile away from the nearest objective and they get something like 2 kills and 800 points, and I feel ya. I hate when people play like that. If you ask me, it's not a very effective play style, and not to mention it's boring. Now, I see this guy on my left hand side in the window, so this goes back to using your equipment, namely your grenades. Hold that, man. Boom. Now that's probably my favorite kill in the whole video, but anyway, next thing I want to say is, in this video I can only teach you tactics. I can't teach you how to aim better, or how to adjust for bullet drop better. That's something that you're gonna have to learn by yourself. That's something that you're gonna have to learn through trial and error, persistence, and practice. And eventually you'll be able to adjust for bullet drop by simply judging the size of your target. Like, the smaller your target, the more your bullet is gonna drop. Now, for my playstyle, I wouldn't really call my playstyle a passive or aggressive. I don't cap many flags while I still do play the objective. I'd rather move behind my squad that's going for the objective and provide cover fire and recon, which is really how you should play this class when you're using a bolt action rifle, because they're not built to rush in with. That's what you have shotguns and that's what you have automatic rifles for. And if you ever do find yourself in CQC, then pop out your pistol. Trust me, it'll save your ass a lot more than it won't. Probably the most important thing is spotting. If you don't kill them, somebody will, and that's the mindset that you should try to have, especially with vehicles. I hate when I'm piloting helicopters and I have to spot every single tank out by myself. I use the 12 times scope for pretty much any engagements, just because I like the larger targets. Scope is really up to you. You use really what scope is more comfortable for you, but I'd always recommend using the straight pull bolt over the bipod, seeing as the bipod really, it makes you an easy target, and the straight pull bolt is a lot better for making up faster follow-up shots in case you miss the target or you don't get the headshot and he's still alive. And you have to remember, sniper rifles are much better used defensively rather than offensively, which is why you see me stick around friendly flags more often than attack enemy flags. Well, what do snipers do if you're not capturing objectives? Well, you provide suppression, you lower enemy morale, and if you're any good, you're sure to pop a few guys in the head. And that's another thing I want to touch up on. You always want to go for headshots. When you're not playing hardcore, it's the only way you're going to ensure a one-shot kill, at least until they release the stupid one-shot chest kill in the new patch. I get a little bored and I decide to push up, and I realize that Delta flag is the only flag that we haven't captured, so I decide to set a spawn beacon near it to try to take it as fast as possible. Now the reason I was complaining about the one-shot body kills was it's gonna be just like Bad Company 2, which by all means Bad Company 2 is not a bad game, but it was very annoying how someone can strap on a red dot sight to their M95 and one-shot everything in sight. But I digress. Sniping, not only does it require skill, but it requires a lot more patience than most classes, discipline, because if you missed a shot, sniper rifle rounds are very loud and the guy will just run for cover and you missed your chance. You have to rely on somebody else to get him, and we all know that doesn't happen very often. Now, one of the last things I want to talk about before I leave you guys to the rest of the video is keep in mind that sniper rifles along with shotguns are the only primary weapons in the game that allow you to destroy enemy explosives such as C4 and AT mines. So when you see them, shoot them. Use enemy explosives against them, just like you see me do against this poor bastard. That always makes me smile. I use that tactic later on a tank, but the mine that I shoot doesn't set off the other two mines near it like I thought I would. I damage the tank, but I don't destroy it, which is a tad disappointing. Shooting explosives is a good way to deal with jihad jeeps, as I like to call them, because they're usually just littered with C4, and it's a lot easier to hit the C4 than it is to hit the driver. Remember to scout obvious spots when you're using a sniper. Remember you have a scope. Don't be afraid to use it. Examples of obvious spots would be the tower on Caspian border, the mountains on Karg Island, or the cranes on Operation Firestorm. If you're sniping in an urban environment like Strike at Karkin or Seine Crossing, you want to be more focused on rooftops and windows, and there's quite a lot of them. If you happen to be the guy in the window, remember to shoot from the middle of the room as opposed to being right on the window. Being in the middle of the room hides your muzzle flash, and it allows you to stay hidden a lot better, especially if you're using a low power scope with no glint. Speaking of glints, which I think was a terrible implementation by DICE, you need to remember high value targets, or HVTs. If you find yourself staring at a few enemies down your scope, take out the sniper before you do anything. If there's no sniper, you go for the medic, and so on and so forth. Now before I go, I want to reiterate one thing. Spot, 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 spot. Q button on PC, select on PS3, back button on 360. The team that spots well usually puts themselves in a good position to win and saves a lot of lives. I can't stress this enough, guys. I cut off the video at the end after I run out of ammo because the rest of the match consists of me trying to get ammo hopelessly from 3 different support guys, and when I finally get it, I get shot and I die. And I just want to save you guys the boring footage. Now this part I like. I duck down to the ground to avoid the shrapnel busting in my face, and I get a little bit tired of this guy, so I head right down and I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna take you out my 1911. You can't take me. Come at me, bro. Now that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and happy hunting.